Hey everybody, and welcome to Astronaut Lounge. I'm Poppa Stonks, and today we've got the team from Maxx. We've got Nan and KP. I don't know if KP's talking today or not, but this is a project on the Palm chain currently that is getting ready to go cross chain on BSC and ETH. They have been working really hard and have done really well so far on Palm Chain itself. So, with that said, Nan, you want to give yourself a brief introduction and then pass it on to KP, and then we can get into the project a little bit.
Yeah, of course. Good morning, man. Thanks for having us here. Yeah, this second time coming on, which is nice. I was always looking forward to do a follow up here, and I know that when we first came on, there was a lot of questions, a lot of thoughts about Palm Chain, and I think since then we've done pretty well. We launched and we went, we did a 40x, I think it was, from launch, where we're sitting around a 300K market cap right now, gearing up for our next our upcoming launches. Our pink cell listing is up. Our new white paper is out. We've got a whole new, I guess, direction that we're kind of taking now in terms of how we're approaching our project with the chain, and we're really excited about it. We have pretty high hopes in terms of our upcoming pre-sale, which starts tomorrow, runs until Monday, and then once we've settled off with that, of course, we'll jump into the ETH side and do that pre-sale and launch as well. So we've got a lot of little surprises ready. We've got a lot of cards we haven't played yet, and we think what we have planned can really help the chain succeed.
Awesome, man. Awesome. KP, are you able to speak today or?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm in the car here. I've got an hour on this AMA for you guys, but yeah, that's a pretty good introduction with regards to our past history on this AMA with you. I know, as Nyan alluded to, there was a lot of conversation circulating around Palm Chain, but since then we've done well, as you said. We have some newfound direction on how we really want to approach this ecosystem. Which obviously the last time we were here, we were talking about this as a project, and now we really want to expand this into a complete full-blown ecosystem. So we have a lot of things that we're working behind the scenes. We've released a couple, some information with regards to a couple of utilities coming up that we're going to be adding to the ecosystem, but there's a lot more meat and potatoes behind the scenes. And, we're excited here to talk about it. So, and we can have a conversation about Maxx. We can have a conversation about Palm Chain in general and what we're doing to add value there.
Awesome, man. Awesome. All right. So, let's just dive right in. So, tell us what, the Maxx ecosystem is going to be about. What are you guys planning on doing to increase the increase the users and awareness on Palm Chain?
Yeah, so as we initially spoke about when we first came on with you a while back there, our goal here was to just bring awareness to the chain using Maxx kind of as a platform to allow people to come in and stake and earn some of the, the top Palm offerings, so to speak. But as time went on, we realized, we can do a little bit more. And so what we're doing now is we've kind of bumped up our cross-chain launches here and decided that in order to kind of bring more awareness to the chain, I mean, right now the market cap is for the entire chain is under 2 million, which isn't too high, but we see this as a great opportunity for us to kind of build on the chain. And instead of looking at Maxx as a project on the chain, we want to look at Maxx as a builder on the chain to help kind of bridge that gap and help entice others to come. So we're going to build a platform and a full ecosystem for not just investors, but other projects that are launched on other chains to come over, projects that want to begin and build on a brand new blockchain layer 1 proof of work, and kind of help bridge that gap and set them up. So like, we're going to have the tools necessary to build. So the launch pad, the pools, the launch pad, all kinds of tools that the community has already come out with, because we've seen how this has gone since day one. And I mean, if you look at the utilities that the projects on the chain have already brought out, some of these utilities are amazing. I mean, you've got a full out launch pad, you've got dexes, you've got staking platforms, you've got token sniffers, you've got all kinds of utilities that are out there. But these projects and these developers didn't get the they didn't recognition that they deserved. So we're kind of working. We took a step back here to say, you know what, let's create a platform that brings all of their advantages and all of their builds together, and kind of put that out front and display for the communities to see. So basically, we're going to be approaching projects to say, hey, look, this is what we have here. We'll help you from A to Z. We'll bring you onto the chain. We really want to bring more eyes to the Palm platform. So, like I said, we're not just Maxx as a project on the chain. We want to be a builder on the chain. So that's pretty much the short version of what we're doing here.
Awesome. So are you guys going to be, you said you're going to be approaching projects, so you're going to actively seek out projects that you think would be beneficial to the chain, or, are people going to be launching just memes, degens? What kind of projects are you going to approach to build on the chain?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want projects that can bring value to the chain. One of the ones that we're actually in discussions with right now is a mining project. It's a project that wants to actually come and mine on Palm, since Palm is a proof of work consensus. The coin is mineable. Our hash rate right now is, does need some help with regards to securing the network. The more miners, the stronger the network is, and thus more value for the actual coin itself. So there's a project that we're discussing with in how to strategically launch on chain and ease itself into the chain, obviously, because mining Palm right now is not profitable, but there is a way and a path to do this, and we're excited about this project. And there's a couple other projects as well that already are on BSC that have a couple utilities, such as wallets and a few other things. But in general, the website that we're going to be completely revamping, what we want to create that website into is a complete all-in-one encompassing hub where projects, developers, as well as investors can come and utilize that as a resource of everything that's available to them on chain. So for a project, for instance, that even is not listed, is not launched on BSC or ETH, but a developer that maybe is building a community and wants to launch somewhere, they can actually come on chain and say, well, how do I launch? Do I just stealth launch my coin or my contract on Palm chain, or is there any platform or solutions that I can create a pre-sale, provide whitelist spots, lock my liquidity in, things of that nature. So nobody knows where to find all these things. And since Nyan and I have been here since day one, we want to be able to showcase those projects that are already on chain that offer such utilities. It does not make sense for us to go out and build a full-fledged launchpad when there already is a launchpad on chain that does a damn good job of offering a project to actually get launched on the chain properly with a pre-sale and so forth, and a raise and everything. The same thing for investors. When investors want to come, there are certain utilities that other projects have created to provide an investor best practices for investing or deciding to make their choice on where they might want to actually ape into something. That does not mean that there's not meme coins probably that are going to launch. But actually, there was just a meme coin that just launched the other day out of nowhere called Proof of Trump. And it actually it went up 34,000%. I mean, granted, it launched with a $100 market cap or something ridiculous there. But those coins obviously are always going to launch, but it is our duty, all of us, as investors, whatever chain you are in, right? You're going to do your research. You're going to join Telegram groups. You're going to want to maybe sniff out the contract and see if it's renounced, or if it's a honeypot, or if it's this, or if it's that. So, we just want to provide resources with regards to what our new website is in terms of helping everybody understand when they come to Palm Chain how to navigate the current ecosystem. So that in a nutshell with regards to what we're doing as far as the website and how we're going to structure everything. But that does not go to say that we're also not offering utilities for Maxx, utilities for our own investors. people that are staking their coins, and we're showcasing and creating partnerships because our staking pool right now, it's a triple staking platform. We will always offer the Palm as a reward, being that is a blockchain coin. But we have two other spots where we can interchange those staking pools and showcase projects that we may engage in partnerships with, or want to help or give them a boost and support them in a way. And that's one of the cool things that we're doing. Now we have a couple other utilities coming up, but we can discuss those as when we move on this AMA.
Okay, perfect. So so that kind of gives an overview of what your guys' intentions are as far as building on the Palm chain and bringing new investors there, new projects, which is awesome. If you want to touch on just real quick for people listening, how exactly a layer 2 or a layer 1 proof of work chain works. There is no single person that has control. Right. Just
so if we want to back up here a little bit, yeah. So obviously, Roger created a ETH 2.0, which was pretty much where me and Nine actually first entered as investors into, the idea of like this layer 1 that was going to potentially launch. Everything was speculation back then. That was launched on ETH, and it acted as your kind of pre-sale token for securing your Palm coin when the migration was going to take place. Everybody that was a holder in ETH 2.0, was able to buy, hold, and they would gain or earn an airdrop of the coin. And that's how the supply by Roger was decided to be dished out. That supply was going to be vested over like 100 days at 1%. And then obviously it was decided by him at a certain time to just release the entire supply and let the market decide what the market wants to do. So releasing an entire supply obviously did have a negative effect on the chart, right? On Maxx, which is where Palm is listed in terms of a central exchange. And that's where pretty much all the liquidity for Palm really sits at. Since it's a layer 1 blockchain, there is no smart contract that actually, that exists. There is no liquidity pool where somebody can actually rug or pull the chain. The chain, once it went on mainnet, it actually completely decentralized itself. There is no actual owner deciding, to plug it or unplug it or do whatever. The only way the chain can actually get unplugged is you travel to every country that exists right now and find all the 100 or 200 miners that are on chain right now mining, and unplug their actual mining units, their rigs. So as of right now, once the chain was launched, everybody basically just becomes an entity that tries to control the narrative of who's building on chain and who's bringing good value to the chain and who's releasing what utility to the chain and so forth and so forth. So that's what Roger and Proof of Memes team became. And then that's also what other availability is for anybody else that wants to come here on chain to build and set their footprint and saying, well, you guys are releasing that utility, we're releasing this utility, ours is better, ours is competing with yours, ours offers better fees, maybe ours is cheaper, our DEX might be cheaper, the fees are better than Palm Swap or whatever you want to call it. Anybody can come and provide competition here for any offering that there is on chain. So essentially it is the most decentralized consensus consensus that exists out there in terms of like security, because it's all miners. Versus proof of stake, which is validators, and then usually those validators own a very big piece of the power on chain for a proof of stake blockchain, or proof of authority, which is basically even more centralized because you only really have one central figure actually controlling pretty much the entire network of a chain. So that's pretty much where we are now. It's almost like Roger found the land. The land is not owned by anybody, and there's no deed out there for anybody. Everybody can come here and build their own businesses, if you want to actually create an analogy to it, and create commerce. So you as an investor in this chain, well, you can decide whether you want to go to this business and spend your money because you like it and you like what they're doing and you think they're going to grow, or you see this other business over here that's not doing really good things or good practices, or you feel like they're not, being honest, whatnot, and hey, then you just decide not to spend your money there. I mean, this is as simple as I can put it, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So with this, so with the ETH 2.0, backing up to that. So you said that was basically like a pre-sale token. So people bought ETH 2.0 and got airdrops to Palm. So,
Yes. So if you
and,
had holdings of E 2.0, there was a conversion rate of how much Palm in alignment to your holdings you would actually you would receive. And then what they decided to do with E 2.0 was those holdings migrated over and became something called PalmG, which is theoretically the governance token on chain. You know, anybody can create a governance token and saying this is a governance token on chain. It just depends if people decide to follow that governance token or not. So, right now the chain is in a very young stage. It is it's an opportunity for a lot of people that do want to come here, spend some money, and build certain offerings for the investors that are on chain, and position themselves for growth. So, I was asked another question the other day on another AMA, like, why Palm Chain? Like why didn't you go to BAC or ETH? And I've been in crypto for 8 years now, so I've seen my fair share of opportunities with projects and also coins like Solana and Matic and everything else. And a lot of those layer ones and a lot of those big dogs right now, they always had a huge amount of money behind their backing. Maybe millions of dollars in the form of VCs. And usually VCs, the way they structure business is that they usually we'll help build this, but we're going to secure our position now. And then when we actually release opportunity to retail, we are already set in our position and we basically control the majority of the supply or so forth. And that's pretty much it. The retail always ends up coming in last. And with Palm Chain, since there's no VC money, and this is obviously probably a lot harder road for growth, but a more rewarding road, because the opportunity here is that this completely can be a community-driven chain for growth. The risk-reward ratio that Palm Chain offers in terms of opportunity for gains, it's probably one of the best I've seen maybe ever in terms of where price is right now for Palm, and in terms of opportunity for growth and where it can be. So one of the reasons we did not want to go directly to BSC or ETH is exactly for that reason. So we want to get in on the ground floor of something that could maybe potentially rival some of the top chains in a couple of years.
awesome. All right. So, so ETH 2.0 provided people with the airdrops. So if you held that, you got airdrop Palm. And then ETH 2.0 then migrated over and became a separate token itself. So where did the liquidity come from for all this?
So ETH 2.0's liquidity, basically you send your coins, when you did the migration, the way I understand it is that you migrated your coins to, your ETH 2.0 coins to receive the PalmG coin. So that liquidity was probably, provided back to the LP itself. So your tokens were sent back to the actual liquidity pool, which still is a token. Roger still controlled that token. And then we were offered our 1-in-1 ratio of PalmG on the other side, and liquidity was added into PalmG. So a lot of people.
Well, I mean, like, where did the liquidity for Palm come from? If the liquidity from ETH 2.0,
there's
there had to be some kind of liquidity on Maxx.
Yeah. So liquidity was provided on Maxx by the market making that Roger did probably put in. I don't know the details of that, but obviously there was liquidity added on to Maxx for that, and then market making took over. So now the liquidity is pretty much everybody that either holds Palm or everybody and the demand that's there to actually buy Palm. So there's no market making left on Maxx anymore. So it's just completely free market in terms of where price is. The only way liquidity
Okay.
increases is through just demand. If demand
Yep.
supersedes the sell pressure, your liquidity goes up. And the only way that
All right.
demand increases on Maxx is if there's projects on chain that are doing well and creating X's and opportunity for people to invest and make money, thus creating demand for the coin itself, because you have to own Palm in order for you to actually engage, transact, buy Maxx, buy any other token, buy NFTs, and so forth. No more different than how BNB is or ETH.
Put
Right.
it this way: if every single person that owns Palm goes on MEXC right now and puts up sell orders for $5 for each Palm, if anybody wants to buy, then that's the price that's set. It really depends. It's a true supply and demand system that's in place there. There's no liquidity pool in place that advises what the price would be on MEXC. It's a true supply and demand.
A Palm short squeeze. Let's go.
I
All
would like to
right.
see that one.
So, all right. So in the other AMA, you guys were asked why Palm, and I asked you in the last AMA we had myself. So now I'm going to switch it up. Why BSC? If you guys want to build on Palm, why BSC now? Why ETH?
Well, so the way we decided to cross chain is because of the fact that we're creating an ecosystem. So this now changes the narrative away from a little bit from just Palm chain. We are always going to be tied to Palm chain because we are a Palm chain project first, and obviously we want to bring awareness, but we also don't want to shove Palm down people's throats, right? I mean, in the end of the day, I as an investor, been in this space for a long time. I hate when I felt I was being navigated to do something I didn't want to do or to invest in something I didn't want to invest in and pushed. So we want to create a free market ecosystem within Maxx itself with the different chains where people can actually bridge in and out and arbitrage and have fun trading back and forth and creating opportunities for others and whatnot. I mean, in the end of the day, it comes down to trading, right? So why not offer a unique ecosystem where people can do that? And while they're wherever they end up, it's like if you decided to pack your bags from BSC and send them to Palm Chain and go on vacation, well, you might as well stay a while and check out the bar down the street or whatever else you got that's available on this chain. Like what other projects are here? Oh yeah, I might sell a little bit of Maxx here just to get some Palm because I like this project I see over here. So I'm going to go invest here, or I'm going to go to the NFT marketplace that Meme NFT is actually rolling out in 2 weeks, where all the projects that created NFTs already on Palm Chain now have a marketplace to go list their actual NFTs. Meme NFT is a completely separate project, not tied to anybody, not tied to Roger. It is a completely separate team. They are actually rolling out a competitive product that looks exactly like OpenSea, only that it's going to have it's going to be more robust in terms of its utilities and so forth. But Palm is going to basically be the default kind of like currency in terms of NFTs that you see. But they are also going to offer ETH and Polygon NFTs and all this. They're doing all cross chain, but they're one of the first marketplaces that will actually be able to actually go transact and sell NFTs and buy NFTs, trade NFTs with Palm. So anyway,
Yep.
so that's one of the reasons why we're creating this ecosystem for Maxx itself. We want everybody within this ecosystem to be able to actually have opportunity to trade back and forth, and while they're at it, explore. The bridge is there, the doors will be open, and anybody can make their choice on how they want to proceed.
Yep. Actually know the meme NFT. I can't even say it. The meme NFT team.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
I
really
know what
cool.
they're
Really cool.
working on.
A very cool tool. So
Yeah, for sure, and it's definitely a good place to give you guys a platform to launch these NFT projects. So yeah, definitely added utility. All right, so let's just touch on. Okay, so the fair launch starts tomorrow. Um, what's going to be the tokenomics for the BSC side?
All right, so this is my time to shine now. So we're doing a fair launch pre-sale on Pink Sale. So our soft cap's going to be 50 BNB. The pre-sale is going to go on from tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, the 10th. We in terms of tokenomics, we decided to create this exact same token structure. Well, in a sense, the minted token structure from the Palm side. So we've minted 2 billion tokens. I've already sent half of that to the Burn wallet, so we only have 1 billion left. Of that, we do have, let me see here, 300 million is going to be going to the pre-sale itself. 150 million is being put into liquidity. And there's another 100 million that's being kept as team tokens, but these team tokens are not going to be kept like the Palm side, because right now what we have is on the Palm side, if we go back for a second here, 80 million we have 80 million tokens as team tokens on the Palm side that are staked indefinitely, and we only use the rewards earned from those tokens for project use. On the ETH and BSC sides, the team tokens that we're going to be keeping are solely meant for marketing purposes, and as well as our utility that KP will probably touch on a little bit afterwards, which is a reward engagement dashboard that we'll be coming out with. So tokens for that will be allocated for that as well. The rest of the tokens, I believe it's another 350 million. Hold on, just give me a second. I need to pull out this. I have the tokenomics all here. Yeah, so I said 300 million for the pre-sale, which is 30%. 150 million for LP, 100 million for the team wallet, 350 that's going to be locked for future exchange listings. And 100 million that we're keeping aside for the bridge if needed. So we're going to be on the Meme Connect bridge at launch. And if we do need tokens for that, we're going to be allocating some for that. And whatever is not used, we will be sending to the Burn wallet. So in reality, the only tokens that will be in circulation will be 550 million tokens approximately.
Okay.
And in terms of, yep, sorry.
Real quick. So you got 2 billion total, burning half.
Yeah.
So really, you're starting off with 1 billion supply.
Yeah.
15% of that is going to LP, but 30% of that is going to pre-sale. How does that work?
So the thing is that we were
51% of the Pink Sale raise is going to LP as well.
Okay.
Yeah, the Pink Sale raise, depending on what we come out with, 51% of that is going to the LP. So the LP is going to be, depending on what our raise is, the LP is going to be pretty thick in a sense. So we'll have, a lot to work with there in terms of, price movement and stuff. But, we'll be able to kind of assess the situation once we're launched. And we do have, a lot of tokens that are going to be, burned at launch and so on and so forth based on, what we use for the bridge and whatnot. And once the cross chain kind of goes, once cross chain is going to be live at launch. So there'll be the ARB opportunities between chains. And also we had to kind of think it in a way, in a sense, because we're going to have the bridge, it's going to kind of combine. We wanted to think of all three supplies combined and ensure that, the tokenomics makes sense overall. It's hard to kind of explain that verbally. It's easier, looking at the white paper and stuff and kind of jotting it down and understanding it. I mean, I was going through the numbers for a long time, and I know sometimes you look at it and you're like, some things don't make sense here, but looking at all the numbers and understanding what the prices, should be on either side and seeing different scenarios, figuring out, how ARB would come into play here. This was one of the better setups that I was able to determine to ensure, things stay fair and we don't really hurt one side more than the other at launch.
Right. All right. So with the pre-sale, how much was raised with the pre-sale, and is there any vesting? Because right off the gate, they're 2x just right off the bat. So how much
Well,
of that is going to be?
right off the gate, they're 2x in what sense?
Because there's 15% of the tokens going into LP. Yeah. So whatever you pair with that LP creates the token price. 30% of the tokens went to pre-sale, so you got double what you're
Well,
putting in LP.
yeah, it really depends on how much the raise is, right? I mean, we can
Right.
hit just the soft cap, and then all of a sudden you're worse off than the palm chain side. Last I checked, because the prices have changed, I think we would need to raise about between 100 and 150 BNB in order to be on par with the palm side. And of course, with the raise on a different chain, you never know what you're going to get. So there's definitely going to be some sort of disparity between the two sides.
Yeah.
And of course, for the guys on the BSC side, in order to make use of the utilities that we have to offer, they would need to bridge over to Palm Chain for the staking platforms, or they would need to, we haven't spoken of the other utilities yet, but there are other utilities that they can actually take part of, but the rewards are always given on the Palm Chain side. So the benefits for traders are there if they want to use the ARB opportunities. If they want to use the rewards, then they'd come to the Palm side, and all this movement together would kind of create an equilibrium at some point. But we are going to definitely look at what our total raise is once our pre-sale is done, and then assess the situation there, because we'll definitely have cash to figure out, okay, well, do we need to kind of fill up a little bit on the Palm side? Do we need to kind of help out the ETH side to kind of keep it keep it a little bit more level? But at the same time, we want to keep it as a free market as much as possible and not really interact with that. So there's a lot of possibilities on the table, and we're going to have to assess once the pre-sale is filled.
Okay. All right. So
And the taxes on the BSC and the
Yes.
east side are
There we
actually less. They're less. They're 9.
Yeah,
Remind me again. 6 and
there's
8.
6 and 8 as opposed to 10 and 12 on the Palm side.
Yeah, which we do
6
intend
and 8.
to move the taxes down on the Palm side once we kind of have the established ecosystem in place, and we feel like we're in a good place to do so. The way the contracts are written on the Palm chain side, there's no way for us to increase taxes. We can only reduce taxes. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
And or do you intend on reducing the taxes on BSC and ETH as well at some point?
Yeah, so I mean, once we hit, it really depends on volumes, because that's what's key for the taxes here. So,
Right.
I mean, if our volumes go up and we have, a lot of movement, of course that will allow us to reduce the taxes. But, the key here is that a majority of the taxes are going directly back to the holders in terms of the staking pools. So really, if we were to reduce taxes, we'd be reducing that, because in the end, we're only taking 1% that goes back to marketing and dev. 1% is going to go back to the buyback and burn, so go back to LP, and then basically the rest of it is going directly to rewarding the holders that stake. So if we do reduce, it's more likely than not going to reduce the rewards, and we have to find a fine line there that keeps the investors happy and keeps them staked, while keeping people trading at the same time. So it's always something we're going to have to monitor. So if we get really high up in the volume, then it's something we can entertain. But if we do that, we're not going to revert back. So we have to make sure we're making the right decision when we do that.
Yeah. And so those taxes that are feeding the staking pools, if it's Palm as the reward token, and then whatever else tokens. So those taxes, are coming from the Palm side. Now, when people buy on ETH or BSC, because the taxes are lower, and they just bridge over and start staking over there, what happens if the Palm side volume dries up and people are just taking, the opportunities to buy with the lower taxes.
Well, if they do that, then basically we'll have a point where people are jumping in from one side and moving over to the other side, and it's just going to create more arb opportunities. So there's two things here. There's the taxes that are going to keep people coming to one side, but then as one side gets overfilled, you're going to have arb opportunities created on the other side. So we're hoping that this is going to continuously create an equilibrium eventually. And if things don't, we'll be able to monitor the situation and assess at that point. But these are situations we've looked at in many directions and thought of a lot of what if scenarios, and depending on what happens, we'll be able to kind of figure it out as it comes. I mean, of course, there are probably situations that we haven't thought of, but we feel like we've gone down the numbers on many different paths here.
Yeah, I mean,
Awesome.
in essence here, we have to give the market some trust for the market to balance out. And, there will be opportunities, and those opportunities may be very, very short too. If people are looking for arb opportunities, they're going to be quick, especially if you have a very trading natured community. So,
Yeah.
And obviously, there's a couple other things that we're doing for the Palm side to generate volume. And that Nine can touch upon this next utility, but Maxx is a pretty cool utility that we're going to be coming out with. And then I can talk about the rewards engagement dashboard for Maxx, which is a very unique utility as well.
All right. Well, real quick, let's touch on one thing that you just said. So the arbitrage and the speed, how fast it'll go. How fast is this bridge? What is the average transaction times? Has there been any, situations where it's been, clogged or
Right.
transactions
So
aren't going through?
I guess I can go ahead and touch upon this
Yeah.
and probably just drop the alpha on top of this as well. So obviously, yes, Meme Connect Bridge is obviously a Palm utility from the Palm team. We have noticed that there's some issues with it with regards to clogging or some transactions not going through it. I think the way it's set up with validators and so forth that have to get filled. I think just the mechanics behind it, which I'm not a dev, right? So I don't understand the source codes and all that stuff. But the bridge right now I can confirm, is already completed in terms of the ability for Meme Connect to be able to add tokens on it. So we will be on it. The Palm team does, want that utility to be offered out. So NFT holders that hold an NFT called Bridge Keepers, they would get 1% of the fees off that bridge, for that NFT they hold. But one of the things that I wanted to ensure is that we were not solely 100% dependent on getting this bridge functional in time for our cross-chain launches. So I made sure that we pivoted and we had a backup plan. So I can confirm today that there will be also a Maxx bridge that is offered at launch. And it is already being audited. We have not released that information to anybody yet, but I'm releasing it to you right now as the alpha. So if you guys, when we launch, do not want to use Meme Connect because it's not ready to use or for any reason, you guys will be able to use the Maxx bridge to bridge in and out. And I already tested it, and it takes less than a minute.
Let's go. Nice. That's the one thing I was worried about with the bridge was the Meme Connect bridge, because I know it's had some issues before.
And Nine, if you want, you can drop a screenshot of it.
Sure, I'll drop it in the chat right now.
That's awesome. So who do you guys have this getting audited by?
This is being audited by, let's see here.
Cognitos?
Let me see here. I lost that group there.
And so with this type of bridge, it's like an acid bridge, so it's going to burn on one side and mint on the other. So there's really no tokens that can get compromised inside the bridge.
Exactly.
So you don't have two big pools on both sides that somebody can, potentially use a back door to go in and take the tokens and dump.
Exactly.
So, all right. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there, which I like that. Uh, with some of the bridges that have been compromised, in
You mean like the
not so
B&B
very,
bridge with 200
yeah,
million?
yeah,
Yeah, 200 million B&B or 200 million worth of B&B or 2 million B&B sitting in it or something like that. Yeah, no, I mean, this is going to be a mint and burn function bridge. So obviously, you're burn, you're bridging in, you're burning on one side, you're minting on the other side.
all right, perfect. Perfect. And I love that you guys are going to have your own bridge. And are you planning on, offering that out as a utility to other projects as well? Like, are you going to be able
Well,
to handle?
yes, we did say that we were looking to onboard projects, right? Well, our bridge will
Yeah,
be able to add those projects on it.
Just posted the screenshot to the chat.
nice. Let's go. All right. So with the fair launch starting tomorrow, so this bridge is coming back from audit today.
Yeah, within 24 hours. We just actually paid for the audit this morning, and they quoted us a 24-hour turnaround. And that audit will be available on our site and also in our socials. And then I wanted to make sure that everything was ready to go, for us to, when we conclude this pre-sale, that everybody's ready, able to bridge in and out.
Perfect, man. Perfect. So
Well,
when
I told you we're building, Papa. Didn't I tell you we're
yeah, you
building?
did. You
Okay.
did, man. You did. And
And this is just a start. This is just a start. Let me tell you that. And like I said at the beginning, we
well,
have a
this
lot
is
of
a
cards we haven't
this,
shown yet.
well, this is a great start, man, because this is something that's essential, to proceeding with what you guys are doing.
And
Especially with the launch, the cross chain.
this is a perfect example of how others can come to the chain and build and create their own ecosystem and not be dependent on others. And like as we coming back to this being a proof of work, layer one blockchain, there's no control. This is ours. This is ours to control,
Right.
and we're going to be creating the narrative here.
We do not have to ask anybody for permission to do anything here.
Right. No, 100%. It's your project. Nobody can control that. You can do whatever you want. Uh, so that's awesome. So when do you guys think you're going to be launching on ETH as well?
I think I want to first make sure that we give our undivided attention and our tender and care to pretty much, taking this ecosystem to this next step with this added chain,
Hmm.
and ensure that the dust settles a little before
Yeah.
we chew too much. Then chew too much off than we can handle. So look, 9 and I. I mean, our backgrounds, with what we do in our real life. He's 35, I'm 40. We both work for multi-billion-dollar corporations. He handles tons of money. Is very, very structured, very transparent. What I've done on my side in my career has been complete. Scalability of a logistics company with what my resources have been to take to be part of a $20 million company from 10 years ago to a $1.8 billion company today. It takes a lot of structure, identification of resources required, for scalability. How do you move to the next step? Ensure that there's a proper process to follow. Hitting everything on the nail, getting all your ducks in a row, execution. So we're bringing that type of experience to this project. We want to treat this as a business. We want to ensure
Hmm.
that we are accountable to the community. We don't want we're not here to hype. I know everybody loves hype in crypto, and that's great. We don't need to hype. We just need to just put our heads down, do the work, and let our results speak for themselves. And who sees value in that, that is smart enough as an investor and wants to decide to invest, will invest. And like I said before, you know, you have short-term investors, you have long-term investors. I mean, we don't discriminate. Anybody that wants to be part of the Maxx ecosystem, whether it's a day or for a year or whatever it is you think, I mean, everybody's welcome. You know, we don't. One thing I always want to make sure is, you know, our chat and this whole Jeet mentality and you cheated and all. I don't want any of that. Absolutely not. They will not. I will not tolerate that type of mentality. Everybody in this ecosystem needs to treat this as a fair market. You have buys and you have sells. There's no way around it. One cannot live without the other. You can't buy something unless somebody else has something to sell. So, you know, we're gonna treat this quite differently. The way we approach the narrative, what we're building here, how Nyan and I actually, you know, handle ourselves, and that's what we want to ensure that everybody understands. You know, we want people to have fun. We want people to feel confident that they are supporting a good team with a vision, and that we are actually doing everything we can in our power to work every day at it and bring results.
Perfect. All right. So let me touch on, let's see, what other plans for marketing do you guys have?
Right.
You know, outside of just the AMAs.
Yeah. So the AMAs obviously, you know, are all pre-sale, you know, geared and so forth. But in terms of continued marketing for the project, you know, we've been around for a long time. We've all been part of those projects, right? Where you're like, when marketing, and then they throw out some, you know, some articles or, you know, some press releases, and you think the price is going to blow up and everything. And it's like, well, you know, I mean, that's great and everything, but, you know, if CoinDesk comes to me and says, I want to write a mass article about your project, I will not say no. But I'm also not going to try to throw some fluff out there, you know, that does not stick. So one of the things that we have noticed with regards to a utility that we're going to be offering on this on our project is word of mouth marketing, right? How has this word of mouth marketing worked in the past with all these projects? What has been this number one thing that every project tries to do and it never succeeds? Lock the chat, post to Twitter, raid, let's go, chill, do this, do that, do whatever, jump, you know? I mean, how do you quantify the results out of something like that? Do you, like, how do you understand whether that is impacting anything? So why not figure out a way to actually reward word of mouth and your efforts to go out and chill? So that's what Ignite QR is. Ignite QR is going to be a dashboard where you as an investor or as a user or part of a community will be able to actually create a profile, log in. You'll have an identifiable QR code that is tied to this project. You'll be able to go share that identifiable QR code anywhere you want, your mom, your dad, whatever, whoever it is that you want to send it to. Anybody that actually then scans that will take them back to the dashboard, and they will be able to actually then purchase on that dashboard Maxx. And then that dashboard will actually have an opportunity for that investor to actually reap rewards in the form of probably Maxx is what we're holding back in coins, where they can collect basically their rewards for that individual that actually did engage with that individual that sent them the QR code and actually physically bought on the chart.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And you know, I've known about Ignite for quite a while now, actually, when it was still very, very young in the infancy stages. So, you know, I've loved that. You know, I've loved the QR code referral idea.
And mind you, this is a utility that is going to be rolled out on Maxx, but this is not like something that is just tied to Maxx. You know, I mean, this can be utilized by any project. I mean, this could be something that we, you know, it's supposed to help the marketing efforts of an existing project. So, I mean, anybody that does come on chain that wants to build a community, or hey, well, how do I help? How do I get my community to engage more? I'm like, well, hey, check out Ignite and check out their services, because you know it could be an impactful tool, and it provides structure to your community to get them to engage. And that way you can kind of as a project owner, you can actually you know, you can actually kind of see who's doing the work for you or not.
Yep.
promoting your project.
Yeah, 100%, man. It works great for work great for shill comps and see who the actual most effective shiller is, with the dashboard, and they get the rewards. But yeah, Steve first pitched this to me, sometime last year, and he's been working pretty hard since then.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love to see that you guys are going to utilize that. How much of the supply did you guys set aside for that?
That's part of the 100 million that we're keeping as a team token. So it's not, we don't have an exact number just yet, because there are some tokens that will be allocating for other efforts, but a good portion would probably be put into that, which would go back to the holders that shill, or to anybody that shills. Really, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to be a holder.
All right. So instead of calling them team tokens, let's just call it treasury.
There you go.
Yeah,
it sounds a little better, man.
It does sound a little better, because I know that team tokens make it sound like it's going to be used by us, but really, yes, it's used by us for more marketing and advertisement efforts.
Yeah. So, with that said, these tokens are getting used, for the project. How are you guys going to get paid? I mean, I know, everybody wants to think, oh, they're supposed to do this for free and put all their money into it, but eventually you guys are going to need paid out.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can tell you, like, look, in the end of the day, we are, obviously we're holders of Maxx as well on Palm Chain, and we're probably going to ape into our side just the same way as everybody else. I mean, as almost investors, it's not like we have massive holdings or anything like that. We're partaking in the ecosystem as investors as well. We want to hold our own coin as investors as well. In terms of how we are getting paid, well, the bridge does have a fee. I believe it's 2% or 2.5%. I can't remember. I need to look at that. What we structured to that. Certain part of those fees go for buyback and burn, and some of them do eventually come our way. But there are other utilities that we are creating, that we have close to our chest right now, that actually will have structure for actual like fees that we can collect in terms of revenue. At this point in time, I mean, we're not getting paid. We don't really need to get paid, to be honest with you. I mean, if anything, we're doing all this for sheer passion of putting Maxx, on the map, but more importantly, putting Palm Chain on the map. If what Maxx can do here and spark an interest in the chain for others to come and build, and others to come and invest, and for them to set aside anything and everything they know about the chain and how they tie it to some of the FUD that's been out there about it, then our goal has been met. Our goal has been met. I find myself doing more education when I talk about Palm Chain than I do more about fighting, the existing FUD that came with it and all that stuff. And honestly, I really don't care about it. It doesn't, and Poppa, the only reason I don't really care about it, or I don't have really much to say about it, is because it doesn't really affect us. I mean,
right.
Doesn't affect Maxx, doesn't affect what we've done. Our community within Maxx is, they are there because of us, without reservation. They see what we're doing, and they're following that narrative that we can do something really cool here.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I'd say, basically as far as like the liquidity pairing goes with Palm, I'd say it's probably got to be pretty bottomed out, so it doesn't have much room to drop any farther.
Right, and that's why I also spoke about the risk reward ratio, because as bottomed out as we are, I mean, and the opportunity for where it can go, the liquidity within the Palm side itself will just astronomically balloon it. It will explode. But that also goes also for even holders, right? I mean, if you're a trader, right, you're always looking to catch that wick at the bottom of Bitcoin. I mean, this is not a wick. This is just here, sitting, waiting, saying, "Buy me," you know, giving you
Yeah.
amounts of immense time for opportunity. And I'll tell you this: any I think any project that launches on chain now is going to do well. If in fact we are really bottomed out, which I think we are. A lot of the issues that happened with regards to why a lot of projects kind of died off when they first came on chain is because I think those devs and those projects did not take into account the airdrop and the amount of actual sell pressure that was probably going to have to happen. This basically I call it a launch airdrop cycle. It was gonna have to play out one way or another. And quite honestly, with where it launched, Palm Chain launched at 2 cents, went to 34 cents, but that was kind of a skewed all-time high. I don't really look at that as a all-time high for Palm because there was really only like 10 million Palm available in circulation for trading, and
Yeah.
there's 620 million. And there was only $1 million worth of volume or so on that first day or a couple of days that shot the price from 2 cents to 34 cents. It was really easy to move the price with that minimal available supply. So, you can't push the price up with a million and a half in volume and expect that 34 cents to really dictate that it's a $340 million market cap. Also, the other
Right.
thing is that we're only on one exchange. When it comes to blockchain coins, their only way of exposure is central exchanges. And the only way to try and find true valuation for the coin itself is it has to be available in multiple markets. So you have other markets that can actually pitch in and add to that price valuation narrative. You can't expect one central exchange to dictate what the actual price is. And it's easy right now in what we've been caught in because of the fact that that's the only kind of place that you can kind of onboard or, like off ramp, on ramp, from Palm in and out, right? I know there's the Palm on Ethereum and Palm on BNB in terms of peg tokens, and that's another way to do it. But honestly, Palm just needs to get listed on more exchanges. I will tell you this: if Maxx does do well in the future, and we garner a pretty big community, I mean, we will, and we have capital set aside. We will push to try to help Palm get listed on exchanges and negotiate deals where we say we would like to list Maxx on this exchange, but we are only going to do it if we also list Palm. So give me your best deal.
All right. Awesome. Sorry, I just had to put slow mode on in chat. People are a little excited, man. They spamming the hell out of my chat here.
I haven't even. Now I'm talking about something. I'm just gonna pick up my kid real fast and put him in the back seat.
Yeah, no problem. So I think KP touched on the reward dashboard. I could touch a little bit on the Lotto app if you like.
Yeah. Yes. Let's talk about the Lotto app.
Yeah. So basically, our next utility, one of our next utilities is also going to be a Lotto app, which is what we're calling Lotto Maxx. Development for this, we're already in discussions about it, and we're hoping development on this will start right after our cross-chain launch on the BSC side. So basically how it works is similar to like Powerball in the States, and here in Canada it's actually coincidentally called Lotto Maxx as well. You have a set of 30 numbers, you pick 3 numbers, and in order to win, you got to match the 3 numbers. The difference here is that every week will be a guaranteed winner. So, regardless on the number of ticket sales or whatever, and if there's always going to be a winner. It's not going to be that there's no winners and next week the pot will be bigger. It's more of an incentive to let people know, okay, well, if there's not too many ticket sales, you're still going to have a big chance of winning, So basically that's how it's going to work. It's very straightforward, like how the regular lotteries are that we have with choose your own numbers. And I think this is good because it kind of gives the holder a little bit more of a control in the sense that they get to choose their own numbers. And it's a little bit more fun, and it allows us to kind of use the platform on all 3 sides and have people join in on this utility, no matter what chain they're on. So basically tickets will go at $2 a piece, and excuse me, tickets will go at $2 a piece, and we'll also have a 2% from the palm side taxes allocated for this utility. So every week there'll be a decently sized pool for people to kind of go in and win. On the other chains, of course, you don't need to be a Maxx holder. You just come into the D app and you'll be able to purchase the tickets. The only way you can collect your rewards, however, is to come to Palm Chain and collect if you are a winner. Now, how this helps Maxx is that all the ticket sales themselves will produce volume, as the ticket sale revenue would be used to purchase Maxx, and that entire pool will be in Maxx tokens. So that revenue will be used, that volume will be used, of course, and create tax volume so that the stakers can earn more rewards. Of course, that'll increase our strengthen our LPs. And at the same time, if the winner comes in and decides, you know what, I want the cash, I'm going to sell all of this, fine. You know, it's going to keep creating, you know, different, it's going to keep creating volume on the charts and create some stability in that sense, but while keeping the stakers rewards high and increase their buyback and burn. So that's pretty much the gist of it. There's some more items about it that I'm not going to share just yet because we need to solidify the details with the developers. There are other items we're going to include in it to make it a little bit more interesting, more fun, more lucrative for certain investors. And we do have plans to kind of expand on this as we grow. But that's pretty much the first stage of our Lotto D app.
All right. So how are the winning numbers drawn? And is it possible for multiple people to win?
Yeah. So if multiple people win, the prize pool will just be split amongst them. Because of course, with the combinations, you'll be able to, you know, there's going to be people that may have duplicate numbers with the same winners. That's perfectly fine. It'll just be split amongst them. And in terms of the drawing system itself, it'll be all built within the blockchain within the D app. So basically, they're able to the developers will be able to create kind of like a randomized pool that selects 3 numbers, you know, completely at random at a set time. So let's just say, you know, every week we have the drawing will be at, I don't know, you know, noon every Friday. Ticket sales will go up to, you know, 30 minutes prior to, and then at noon the D app will do its thing and pick a randomly selected numbers, and that's how it'll go. So and even with the tickets themselves, we'll try to have the D app set up in terms of design and stuff, have it set up similar to how, you know, lotteries are, to make it look a little bit more like you're doing the real thing. So we want to make it seem as fun as possible and you know, engaging in that fact, because I mean, I feel like everybody and their mom plays the lottery more, you know, so it gives a little bit of fun aspect here within the crypto space.
Yeah, definitely. So the fees, the $2 per ticket, that's going to be payable in like B&B or
Yeah, so we've thought about it
on
the Palm side. I mean, of course, with gas fees being so low, it's not a big deal in terms of how that's going to be collected. And of course, on the ETH side, and even a little bit on the BSC side, you know, gas fees are quite high. So we're looking at ways on implementing that a little bit differently. But you know, we're going to go back to the table to see what the best options are. Like, you know, if you want to play on the ETH side, if you're paying high gas fee, it might be beneficial to just buy, you know, 10 tickets at once or something like that to make it more lucrative. But I mean, it really depends on the holder. And, you know, for them, if they're looking at it at that side, it's like, okay, well, why not just jump over to the Palm side and buy a ticket? You'll be able to, you know, pay a lot less in gas fees. And, you know, it brings a little bit more eyes. So there's a lot of little things that we looked at here to see, you know, while creating that awareness and allowing people to kind of come to the chain. So this is something that we feel could help us too.
Oh, I can tell you right now, if I'm buying tickets with ETH, it's going to be at least 100 of them.
There you go.
Because, I mean, I'm not going to buy 10 tickets and still pay the same amount in gas.
But that's it, you know, so it's much easier. Like we'll have it set in the D app that you can just change, you know, your network. So, I mean, it's almost a no brainer to just come buy it on the Palm side. I mean, it's not like you need to purchase the Maxx on one side and bridge it over or anything like that. We're just going to have that option available everywhere and let them decide what they want to do.
All right. So people are going to be paying for these tickets in Maxx, or they are going to be able to pay in other currencies.
Well, the goal is to have it in the blockchain coin, so that the purchases can be made afterwards in the background and sent directly to the pool.
Right.
You know, if we have people donating their already held Maxx tokens, that really is not going to help generate the volume. So that's the goal here. And it did cross my mind thinking about it that way, but it wouldn't help us too much, and it would just kind of, you know, it won't create the pools that we an attractive winning pool that we would want.
Yeah. Plus, we want to see those translated on the charts. Those buys of those tickets.
Yeah, definitely, man. You know, that makes perfect sense. You know, that's why I was asking, because just paying in Maxx doesn't create buy pressure; it only creates sell pressure.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and that's the whole reason also why our staking platform doesn't really, like, you know, you're not staking Maxx to earn Maxx. You know, I mean, that's kind of an old BSC way of, like, you know, the way they used to kind of do it, but it really just dilutes your supply even more. Like, it doesn't really bring any value to stake your native project token to earn more project token. That's why, you know, I mean, I don't know of any other staking platform that I was able to stake on BSC when I was on BSC forever and earn BNB. Sure, I could earn BUSD as a reward, and that's great and all that stuff. But I mean, to earn the actual native coin of a blockchain through a staking platform, I mean, that's pretty much what we're doing. You know, you did?
Yeah, I was in one project where when volume was pretty good, I was getting about 12 beans a day.
Oh, okay. But it's not very common, you know. I don't see it very often. I know a lot of the staking platforms usually reward out in stables or usually reward out in kind of like their own native tokens. So
yeah, no, it's not very common. And I was able to flip it. You know, I could get Cardano, I could get, it was all Binance pegged, but you know, you get ETH, you could get BNB. But unfortunately, that project is no longer. And volume dried up, and you know, obviously they had super high taxes. You know, when the rewards tokens were huge. So,
right.
But see, that's kind of the difference here. I mean, I know that when we first launched Maxx, a lot of people were kind of, you know, we were promoting the staking platform, and I knew there's no way that we can, you know, continuously survive with just the staking platform. I mean, that was more built as an introduction to what we wanted to kind of build into. And, you know, as we went along, you know, things changed, and we've thought of other utilities or thought of other plans. And now we think with this whole, you know, the Maxx ecosystem and how we're going to help onboard projects and investors to the chain. I mean, every project we can bring onto the chain brings them and their communities, you know, so that'll just increase the volume on the chain, increase the market cap on the chain, and hopefully, you know, increase the volume of Maxx on the chain. Because, yeah, you know, all these communities that come in, we can work with them and say, hey, you know, we'll help you out. We'll put you on our staking platform so our holders can start earning your tokens. And in turn, we hope those communities help buy into Maxx as well. But they might not. They might just buy into Palm, which is perfectly fine. But, you know, this just allows us to keep having a footprint everywhere and grow. So I think our staking platform will definitely have the volume necessary going forward, but you know, we're always going to be adding things and changing things up as we go along based on the climate around us.
all right. Oh shit. Oh, I'm sorry. I just noticed something.
Yeah, we could be talking for hours. Is that what you noticed this past noon?
Yeah. No. That's not what I noticed. I just noticed something else. This link took people to the wrong place. So, yeah, let's. We are a little past time, but you know, that's fine with me. Um, but since we are, let's open this up a little bit. Does anybody in the audience have any questions for the Maxx team?
Hi, am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, thanks, Poppa, for this opportunity. Hi, Maxx team.
Hi there.
I
Hey, man,
enjoy
how are
your
you?
project. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. I really enjoy your project, and I really love all the plans you guys are making towards your project. And I really love the fact that you're going cross-chain, because this will definitely help increase flexibility of your ecosystem. Now, I want to know, how have you planned to deal with the variable gas fees upon different chains? How have you planned to deal with those variable gas fees?
I mean, the gas fees are the gas fees, and people that trade on ETH are familiar with what they have there. So I mean, on the Palm side, for example, gas fees are extremely minimal. I mean, you're paying 0.007 Palm per transaction, which is 1,000th of a penny, maybe even less than that. Whereas on the east side, yeah, you're paying quite a bit. So I mean, you'd essentially think that the investors are used to thinking, okay, if I'm gonna invest in this, I'm gonna go in with a good amount because I'm paying a good amount of gas. Same thing on the BSC side and same thing on the Palm side. So I mean, we don't have much control over that, of course, but it all depends on how the community perceives the projects and how much they want to invest and how much they're willing to pay for the gas. But at the same time, if they're interested in the project and they see it from the ETH side, they have the opportunity to jump over the Palm side and buy from there, or jump over to BSC side and buy from there. So it gives the equal opportunity, and the bridges are there for that matter, and hopefully the community will make the decision that they want to and invest on whatever side they want to, but the options are all there.
Right, and as Palm, as Palm grows and gets to sustainable, like decent market cap, right? When it not maybe rival BSC or ETH, but when I'm talking about, if it can garner $100 million market cap in the future, the competitive advantage of Palm over, for instance, ETH and BSC, when you're just looking at it from a gas fees perspective, it's night and day. I mean, the gas fees on Palm will always be so significantly low. Of course, congestion in the network and everything could increase the gas fees, but like I said, they are so low right now. It's just, I cannot see them ever going and ballooning to pretty much what ETH has. And if it does, well, that means that Palm is probably sitting in billions and billions of market cap, which I think everybody would be very, very damn happy. I know my project would be, and Maxx would be, because our LP probably be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So, right now, the gas fees are just night and day when it comes to the Palm side versus ETH and BSC.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I love the plans and explanation. I'm really satisfied. One more question is, maybe during a transaction and maybe transaction fails, or maybe I encounter one or two problems while performing some transactions. How is your customer support system designed, or do you attend only on your Telegram community? And how fast is the team to respond to failed transactions?
We're pretty fast. If it's going to be one of the utilities that we actually own, right, like our bridge, for instance, and there's an issue with a transaction through it, we will be on it right away. Nyan and I are very, very active within our Telegram group. So obviously you would bring that issue to our group if you're using our utility. But that does not go to say that if you're using something else, or if you have an issue with the chain itself, or you're something, does not mean that we are not going to be able to look into it and see if we can provide some direction on how you can maybe resolve that issue. For the most part, some of the issues that we have experienced as investors within Palm, perhaps may have been utilizing the bridge that is available right now, Meme Connect Live, by the Palm team. And obviously some of that resolution, has been a little bit slower, but, it all comes down to an aspect of customer service. After all, if you guys are going to utilize products that come out from Maxx, we are going to ensure that we try to resolve any issues quite promptly and right there and there. We have direct connection to our devs. Our devs are very responsive. We're doing very well with choosing devs that we work with, that we feel work at the same pace that we do, and that they communicate at the level that we expect. So I would say that your experience with any issues is probably going to be resolved quite fast on our end, and we will be transparent and along the way with you until it's resolved.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you very much for all your answers to my question. I'm really glad, and best of luck to your project. Thanks, Papa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, man. Thanks for the questions. Does anybody else have any questions?
Hi, am I audible?
Yep. I swear it's the same guy.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Great presentation going on here. Now, my question is on the aspect of partnership. Is there any partnership to this project?
I believe
What type of partnerships?
I'll answer that one. There's a lot of partnerships.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that. I wish you good luck with the project too.
All right. Any other questions? I mean, if it's something that's already been answered, I'll just jump in and answer it myself. But yes, it has been said that that's the whole purpose. They are creating an ecosystem and partnering with other projects to do this that are on the chain. So, and they've got a partnership with my buddy Steve here, who, with the Ignite QR.
Well, actually, Papa, we're on the team.
Or
for
no,
Ignite.
that's yours. Okay.
No, and Steve is in the fold. We're in the fold with him. we laid in bed with him. We made this happen. We're working on this. Ignite definitely is going to be very cool.
All right, let's go then. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, then is there anything that you guys want to touch on before we end this? Anything I missed? I'm going to give one last call to action as to why people should be, aping in this fair launch tomorrow, or even just in the token today.
Yeah. Obviously, we appreciate you, the platform that you've given us here and to speak to your group and your lounge. In the end of the day, that question from my end will always be answered from an investor's perspective. We've laid out the groundwork and know everything that we're going to offer and what our vision is and our roadmap and how we intend to bring value to our project. So it is your duty to ensure that you do your research and what you feel comfortable with and deciding whether you want to do ape tomorrow on the pre-sale or not. We cannot be in control of that. We would welcome you to our community. We know you will be treated fairly and honestly. So as far as everything else, we pretty much discussed it on this AMA in terms of what we're bringing to the table. So if it's something you do enjoy or do you think it's something you want to get in touch with or be part of, we are here. Join our socials.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, KP put it out perfectly. I mean, I echo exactly the same statements as him, and honestly, we think we're very, we're doing our best here to work for the community, do as much as we can to help with this and build on the chain. We think we have a lot of good things coming here, and everybody take a look at the pre-sale, come to our Telegram chats, take a look, and hopefully, you guys will see something that interests you. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for the time, though. Appreciate it as always, Papa.
Yeah, man, awesome. Thank you for coming. I'm glad we got the chance to get this update done before launch of the the BSC side, and thanks for the alpha about the Maxx bridge, man. That's huge. Especially, if it works like, like you guys have said, I think that's going to give a lot more people a lot more opportunities without having to go through Meme Connect.
Right. And we will be listed on Meme Connect too. So, I mean, in the end of the day, we have our bridge and we'll be on Meme Connect too. So, I mean, honestly, whoever else creates a bridge, I probably want to be on the bridge too. So, create as many bridges to the city as possible.
Right. Oh, no, 100%. I just, that was the only issue I had with the bridge was, I know there have been issues in the past with the Meme Connect bridge. So that was, that was my only issue. And you guys creating your own that, can be utilized by other projects as well. That's amazing, amazing utility you got right there. All right, I'm going to end the recording, and you guys stick around for 2 seconds. Thank you guys. Thank you everybody for coming to Astronaut Lounge, and I hope you enjoyed the AMA.
Thank you, Papa.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.